Good evening. Novae is how do you pronounce the Latin plural of nova? Is it novae?
How's it spelled?
Novae?
Nove?
Novae?
I don't know. I never took Latin. I don't fucking know.
Good evening.
Sure, people just say novas.
Good evening, novas and supernovas, and welcome to a force field shatteringly terrifying session of Blood from Stone, a tale of love and dread, and robots in RPG. My name's Philip, and I'm the Dread Master of this game, and with me are just some of my most wonderfulest players. Say hello, players.
Hello, players.
So happy to have you guys here tonight. It's always nice to see you guys. We haven't been talking about anything off stream up to this point, so this is like the first time I'm seeing you. As we go live as soon as it goes to Zoom.
Yes.
That's not.
I sit in a dark room waiting to go live.
Oh my god.
And I don't exist before then, and I cease to exist once we are not live. In the way that your teacher does not exist outside of the confines of the school day.
Oh my gosh.
You only exist when you are live playing D&D or making thirst traps.
And sometimes he does both at the same time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, those aren't mutually exclusive. I say as I pop the shirt.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus, it's gonna go on.
We should. I should just do a session in which it is just the terror of seeing a teacher outside of school, because that is a true kind of terror.
I thought you were going to go for something thirst trap related and not teacher related, and I was more in for that, honestly.
I worked as a librarian at the vet library in college, and one of the vet students saw me at a Pete's once and went, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Getting coffee? I don't live in the library."
God. When you said the vet library, in my mind, I didn't ask, but I was like, is it going to be like a veterans library? Or is it a veterinarian's library?
For the veterinarian school.
And then
the library, the VFW.
Then exactly. Then you said a vet student, and I was 95% sure it was veterinarian. You ever notice that when you see? I hate the feeling of not knowing where I know someone from.
Yes.
Like when you see someone in the wild and you're like, "Hey," and you're like, "Oh my god, do I know this? Is this person a friend of mine?" Most problematically, is this person the romantic partner of a friend of mine whose name I've never learned? That happens to this guy.
So here's what you do. You go, "Hey, how's it going?" And then you go, "How's everything been?" And
you hope they answer.
I found that is enough of a prompt to be like, "Oh, great!" Like if it's like a partner, like Ronald is doing great, and then you're like, and then you go, "Ah, yes, I met them. I'm there. This is Ronald's girlfriend. I hate Ronald. The girlfriend seemed okay, and I'm glad that I ran into the girlfriend and not Ronald, because Ronald, I work with him, and he just really is a drag and a bore and kind of only focuses on the work and isn't pleasant to be around."
This really, in a very interesting way, just turned into a total takedown of Ronald, and he deserves it.
Clearly. I mean, with a name like that, who goes around with the name Ronald anyway?
Do you think anyone who's named Ronald ever says that they're going to shorten their name to Nald? Like, just call me Nald.
Oh, no, but okay, you take out the Ron and you got Ald, and then you can be called, if like you do wrestling, you can be called the Alderman.
Okay. Well, probably a better wrestling name than that.
I mean, if I were ever wrestle, I'd call myself Dreadland Steinberg.
I see. I understand.
I never thought about wrestling, but I did think about roller derby, and I was going to be the rolling pinner because I love to cook.
Yeah, that's good.
The names I've always come up with for myself are just that my name is Philip, and it's just the name I have because I don't have these aspirations.
Also, the ruiner of dreams.
Yeah. This will piss Liv off for last, but as Dreadland Steinberg, I would have to have a crossover. For my finishing move, it'd be the satyr, the Passover satyr.
Okay.
Not the turmoil.
No. That's so fucking good. Oh my god, that is. Oh, fuck! I have to rethink this whole thing.
Turmoil.
Fuck. God damn it.
I just want you to have a move called the Babylonian Exile.
Yes.
Just that, because that feels like if somebody says this is the move, that intimidates me. I'm like, whoa, that's literally biblical. Listen, guys, we're here to have fun, but we're also here to play a horror game. Speaking of which, I decided I checked with Liv to see if this was okay. Liv is going to determine her new character right now
live on
via
stream.
the sweet dice. So a couple things I'll also mention to everyone. I should have said this. Gather your d6s and make sure there's one that's like a different color or material. This is that game.
Oh, that's right. It's
where
one
you
of
roll
these.
the d6s. But for you, actually, Liv, you could roll a d6. If you roll a 6, I'll have you roll again. Or no, if you roll a 6, I'll tell you what they are and you can pick.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will get.
If I roll a 6, I get to pick.
Yeah, pick 6. Hey, that's a thing, right? Lottery, pick 6. Nope. Or is that an interception?
I don't know.
In football, I'm googling pick 6.
Pick 6, yeah, it is. It's an interception that you run back for a touchdown.
But it's also a wager offered by horse racing tracks. I think it's one of those terms that's used lots of places because there's also a lottery ticket called a pick 6.
Interesting. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if the horse racing one was an older term than the football one.
Yeah. Often the case.
I know none of these things.
And you know what? You are better for it.
All right, so I'm rolling a d6.
Roll a d6.
Five.
You rolled. So basically, they went in order of normalcy.
Oh God.
So by getting to 5, you picked the weirdo. So you are going to be an oubliette, UBLI-ET, an oubliette fortune teller. I am now going to share.
Wait, how did you spell it? If you didn't spell it starting with an O.
No, I did. It's alien term, so oftentimes in Star Wars and stuff, it's just spelled weird and specific. Well, you'll actually hold on. I'm copying this to your spreadsheet. To your spreadsheet. Okay.
I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say I'm playing a trapezoid, and I was gonna walk away.
Well, hold on, because let me describe the oubliettes to you. The aliens are called the Oubli extraterrestrials, also called the Oubli ETs or oubliettes. Their heads are blobs of sensor sacs, and their bodies are extremely long and slender, with a dark opening on top of their sensor sac heads that they can put their food into.
I love this so much.
Oubliettes don't have oubliettes have an incredibly good metabolism, so they don't have food waste, and if they ever eat food that is not perfectly metabolized by them, they have to ingest it back out the top of their head.
What foods can I not metabolize?
We'll get into it in the game. In addition, they have a collection of appendage sacs at the bottom of their bodies, and these are used for locomotion and physical manipulation. So you have a bunch of weird sacs, like the inside of an orange at the bottom of your body that you crawl around on. Then your body is a long tube, and then at the top you have your sensor sacs, and you're like an oubliette because you put stuff in and nothing ever comes out unless it has to come out.
It's an IBS.
Unless it's ejected
alien?
Forcefully.
Unless it's forcefully ejected. So you are an oubliette, and for some reason, you're a fortune teller.
This character.
This has been moved to your sheet. I'm going to drag it all the way to the.
I'm pulling it.
We have so many tabs on your sheet.
There's so many tabs. I we should retire some of them, but I don't want to.
No.
And actually, do you know what I realized? I can't remember. Did Hattie die?
Oh, my dear, Hattie did not die. And in fact, I really actually, we just had you roll this, and this is what you're going to be, because I have these ready, and this is funny. All right, I've at least got it to the side. You may have already dragged it.
I don't think Hattie died. Wait, where's Hattie?
Hattie didn't die.
Remember.
Hattie was present in a strange, familiar twist. Hattie escaped Hysteles when a Dark Lord was killed the last time.
Right.
So Hattie is in some other domain,
Okay,
And
so we'll find
I
her
now
soon.
realize we could have just had her be here and you could have just been Hattie. But no, you were going to be an oubliette fortune teller.
Oubliette.
Would
Much
you
better.
like a name for this, or do you have an idea for your oubliette?
Oh, I mean, I just named her Oubliette.
Well, that's like calling like a human.
Okay, well, some people are named Guy and they're guys.
Okay.
Can she be
got a
okay? So
point.
she'll be. What about Juliet the Oubliette?
Juliet the oubliette. From Joliet, Indiana. All right. Illinois. Joliet's in Illinois or Indiana?
It's in Illinois.
Yeah, Joliet. That's the one. Also, hello, Andrew. As you can tell, we're just putting Liv's.
It's
Liv's
also
character
funny.
You guys are
because
having a
you're
real
making
fun
jokes
time.
about being Jewish, and I'm Jewish, so I could be Juliet.
Juliet.
Juliet the oubliette. Oh my gosh.
Juliet, the Jewish Juliet
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
crooner.
Everything about this.
So she's a fortune teller. Is she like doing Kabbalah or something?
There you go.
Lots of options here. Well, great.
She has a red string tied around her tiny little tube body.
How does a religious Jewish oubliette practice snus?
Is there a punchline, or are you just asking?
No, I'm generally like, how do they do
I
that?
have no idea.
For the goyim, it's the modesty thing, where like they have to cover up a certain amount.
Yes.
So a couple of things
Long skirt.
on your sheet on here for Juliet
Okay.
the oubliette. You're okay at dodging. You're okay at sneaking. You do have a crystal ball projector, which is basically just kind of like a light show you can put on. You're hugely good skill. You're very good at deceit, insight, resisting fear, sensing, but you also have a read fortune ability, which allows you to try to actually like read the fortunes of stuff. And
What does reading the fortune allow me to do exactly?
it will depend on the context of the game. Because this is a realm with less sort of magic, it is probably more a circumstance in which you are like understanding probabilities, or at least that's what it's always seemed. But
Okay, so
because
it's a
you're-
Scarlet Witch kind of power.
Yes, but because, maybe there actually is something to it. Who knows? Anyway, with that in mind, with Juliet the oubliette, Rawlings and Pascal in hand. Rawlings, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, and I'll sort of do this from where we left off. The last we sort of saw here of Rocket Base 95 involved a dread storm through which one Dahlia the robot bravely walked to save Oksana by going off on a 1 in a million chance to kill the Dark Lord of Hysteles,
Yes, of course.
Violet the Vamp. She implored her friends, S.A. Rawlings, and her longer time companion, S.A. Rawlings, then two other much shorter time companions, whose lives she saved, Elutella and Alekie, to come with her on this quest that she, just received from this guy, the Drifter, who's super trustworthy. They all declined. But Pascal, also being bolt and rivet underneath his synth skin, agreed. Together they ventured to Hysteles through the mist. Meantime, Rawlings, Elutella, and Alekie got a huge amount of information, which I will sort of summarize for you in as brief as possible. They basically learned that there's kind of two sides amongst these Dark Lords. There is the Alliance of the Pearl, who basically want to sort of keep the boundaries where they are. They all still want to personally escape, but they don't want the absolute bedlam of the mists being gone and all these different domains just fully bleeding into each other. As opposed to the Mistbreakers, who are the Dark Lords of the Dreadlands, who want to burn it all down and think that they'll fare better under those circumstances. There does seem to be a sense that different of these Mistwalkers, like the Drifter, work for different Dark Lords. Apparently there are 13 Mistwalkers, individuals who can freely travel between the mists, who can go to whichever Dreadland they want. The Drifter indicated to you that though, he's always trying to do machinations and in a lot of danger, he feels he is safer than the Dark Lords themselves because, he can just he can peace out when necessary. This Drifter then effectively sort of, he also mentioned there's been a lot of kind of changes, including the fact that the shuffling domain is gone. They don't know what has taken its place, that he's worried this is further going to mess with the balance. And he seemed to be intrigued by that doll they were talking about in Merkshire, which is where one of his bosses works. But he effectively gave an unbreakable vow to the Mists that if Rawlings can destroy the awareness, who is the Dark Lord of this domain, and one of the Mistbreakers, because the Drifter works for the Alliance of the Pearl, if Rawlings can do that, the Drifter will make Rawlings a Mistwalker himself. We've met other Mistwalkers. Well, we've heard of other Mistwalkers. And in fact, Pascal, upon venturing through that door, met one, though he didn't quite realize that's who he was talking to. He met someone named the Gambler, who, out of game, has been revealed. The Gambler, she is one of these Mistwalkers. And there was even an implication, kind of when Juliette the Oubliette and, when Dahlia and Pascal made it there, the Gambler sort of was like, who set you here? Was it the guy with the insufferable smile, or was it like the fervent religious lady? And they said it was definitely the guy with the irritating smile. One fun thing that Pascal might cast his mind back to, which there's no reason Andrew would have at the time, my god, it was months ago, was that when you were all moving away from that base where you'd been trapped, Pascal, you did receive a transmission telling you not to go there.
Oh, right.
And she had kind of a southern accent.
That's right. And so she must clearly be religious, yes.
I will go ahead and tell, when in doubt. I will mention sort of an out-of-game thing. So you have spoken with the Drifter. He's actually appeared in 3 of 4 domains at this point. We have spoken with the Gambler in Hysteles, and you have at least here in Rocket Base heard from the Preacher. So, Preacher, Gambler, Drifter. 13 of those I've come up with.
Tinker, Tailor.
The Tinker, the Tailor, the Soldier, the Covert Operative. So, Pascal, I will sort of mention that you were present for this. While you were over there at Hysteles, you saw Dahlia kill Violet the Vamp with an oak-centered stripper pole.
Yes. That was really what I was trying to recall. I just couldn't remember. It was clearly the only way to kill a vampire is with a stripper pole.
Yeah. Well, it had to have a wood core, which I know is not really practical for a stripper pole.
It feels very much like a different kind of the wand choosing the wizard.
Pascal, you escaped in the sort of madness of that time. Rawlings, we're going to be cutting ahead a little bit in your time as well. That you are sort of on this mission. The Drifter sort of made some suggestions, so you kind of got off planet. We're not going to get into the super details of that. We might flesh them in later, but basically, you undertaking that, he provided you with a vessel and some coordinates.
Fantastic. Is there anyone on board who can help pilot the vessel?
Ooh. There was, in fact, one being on board who could help you with the vessel. It was a Gascanian, one of those kind of like giant bronze crab-like creatures.
Yes, quite, yes.
Who seemed to be a part of this shroud. He sort of took you on a mission, and interestingly, he took you back to Rocket Base 95, whence you'd previously escaped. Apparently, the corporation had already taken it back.
Okay.
Pascal,
there's still...
meantime... Oh, just one more setup.
Yeah.
Pascal, in the interim, you passed back through the mist. I assume you were trying to go home, so that you could make a report if your transmissions did not.
I would absolutely have done that, especially if that helps our session today.
Let's say it helps our session today.
Yeah. I actually go to another solo one.
Well, you know what? I mean, here's the thing.
Only for me.
Here's the thing. If you want, actually, no. Take back what helps the session today. Hold on. Let's play this game with the full madness that it deserves. What would Pascal actually do? Forget what, because also sometimes you get sucked into a place you don't want to go. That's what she said.
No, Pascal absolutely. I mean, Pascal's definitely I think Pascal would have tried to wait until the very last minute to see Dahlia, because there's like something about Dahlia that makes Pascal's subroutines jittery.
Understood. Pascal, in that case.
But then like as soon as it was like, Pascal's also very, very damaged.
Pascal is dead.
So Pascal has like 2 hit points. So
yeah.
Pascal will like, this is, I imagine it more like Pascal like looking over his shoulder as reality sort of shifts.
Understood. Then, if you think, but you do think he would be trying to sort of wheel himself home as opposed to just venture further places. Given his injuries, that probably makes sense.
Yes.
So Pascal, you ventured out of those mists, and you found yourself in a bit of concern because you were floating in open space out of the Amaranthine Nebula. Your synth skin beginning to sort of freeze.
This is inopportune.
And eventually, your power cells shutting down.
Oh.
Vacuum.
And I think that his last thought is of, like, a stripper pole.
His last thoughts.
So, with that all in mind, I will now read.
Sorry, he's like, I think I could be pretty graceful.
I mean, now that he's seen it performed, he can recreate any, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with all that in mind, my friends, I will now read today's invocation. If anybody knows what this is from just from hearing it, I'll be impressed. Because I only knew what it was from hearing it, because, well, never mind. Women and men, let no one miss today. Death to the machines. Juliet. The Oubliette. You've begun your day, as usual, on Rocketbase 95, in your stall, where you perform fortune readings. An Arlington Grith employee with a big scar on their head, given the recent sort of robot uprising that happened on the station. Liv, I don't think you ever were ever present for that, but
nope.
The short version is that where is the the short version is that basically a bunch of Platinum Shield robots, upon hearing someone mention the awareness, freaked out and tried to kill everyone. Reinforcements were able to eventually deactivate them, but they were not replying to the command. So even Juliet the Oubliette probably had like an unpleasant couple hours of like hiding from like these killer security robots trying to take the place.
Did I see it coming?
Ooh, you know what? Retroactively, make a read fortune roll. So you're going to roll 7d6, but one of them needs to be the weird one. And if you roll a 1 on that, let us know. And if you roll a 6 on it, let us know.
Right. We haven't played this way in a while. Okay, 76s.
7d6s, guys. Let's just all be honest. That's a lot of d6s.
I dropped 1, but I rolled a 6 on the weird one.
Well, then you're about to be rolling 8d6s, which is effectively a fireball.
Oh, God. Okay, wait, do I have to add up the ones that I have so far, though?
Yes, sorry to say, just like when you roll fireball, you now have to add them all up.
Oh, no. Okay, that is 10, 19 plus 6 is 25. Yes. And now I need to roll 8 more.
How many have you rolled?
7.
Okay, so now roll 1 more. It's an 8.
Oh, okay.
You rolled
I
7,
thought you were
you
telling
get
me
to
to roll
re-roll
another
that one.
8, and
No,
I was like, what the hell?
I was just saying you're
Okay,
rolling 8
no.
total. You're good.
Yeah, because it, like, explodes. The dice explodes.
It does.
Okay. So what did I say? I said 25?
25.
So I'm at 30 now.
30, great. A 30 is a really good result. So I'm going to say that, in fact, Juliet, it was very strange. You did, in fact, foresee an attack by the robots. And you knew that you did not have enough data to be seeing this attack so clearly. And yet, in your sort of whatever odd, kind of dreadful calculations in your mind, that weird sense that you possessed, you were sure it was coming. And thus you, with your ample sneak and dodge skills, secreted yourself away in your fortune-telling stall and remained entirely unharmed. But this morning, an Arlington Grith employee has approached you. A human. He has a pretty bad, like, cut on his head. Sort of the way he's sort of showing up. He walks up to you. And today's game involves something we call dramatic irony, which is where the players and audience will know something the characters don't. Because sometimes the best horror twists the thing. Juliet the Oubliette, this gentleman comes up to you. I'll say that you actually have seen him before. He's come in with readings, often with romantic partners he's had. Kind of for fun, which, let's face it, is the primary, use of your skills.
Yes.
But when he's not sort of trying to impress people, he's coming to you today, though, with a kind of a more serious look on his face. And he says, "Excuse me, hey, Juliet, I was actually wondering,
Yes.
are you available, like the rest of this afternoon or for another day or so?"
For what?
Well, the company has a little project, and we think that your ability to, maybe sometimes know what's coming on, this might really benefit us.
And what would be the compensation?
Well, this is all off the books, which means it's all tax-free. So we can give you 7,000.
7,000 what?
7,000 grith bucks. I don't know what they use. Credits, we'll call it. And I would say that's a good 2 months' earnings in one fell swoop.
Oh, ooh. Okay, so Juliet will pretend to consult.
Make a deceive roll. That's 6D. Oh my god, she rolls so many.
60. What did you do? Dahlia was so broken, and here we are. I'm rolling high again.
Well, let's get you to do any mental thing, and we'll be fine.
I rolled another 6 on the special die.
Yay, special die.
And then I rolled a 1.
I also will mention for viewers out there, I think I don't actually do this enough as we're sort of adding these up. We are playing, though we run 2 Star Wars games each week. Not right now, they're kind of on a break, they'll be back in August. Though we constantly run Star Wars games, we don't use this Star Wars system for those games. What we are using for this game is the 80s and 90s West End Games D6 system. Basically, you roll a different number of D6s based on how good you are at things, but you always have a wild die. Mine, appropriately enough, is a Star Wars die. So basically, if you hit hyperspace on a 6, you get to roll that, you get to add the 6 and roll it again. But if you ever roll a 1, you basically have a big fumble where you not only you have to you don't count the 1 and then you remove whatever the other highest die was. So it's a kind of every roll is sort of high drama. It's super fun. What did we have on our deceive roll?
She rolled a 21.
Okay, so this guy really thinks that you are looking into the future to determine whether or not this makes sense for you. And I'm going to have you do one more roll. I want you to do an insight roll on said person.
Oh, okay. Yes. Insight.
It's also 6.
To determine if this is actually a good move for me or not. A 1, so I take away my 5, correct?
Yes, see? It goes
I
high
am
and
the
low.
queen of min-maxing, I swear to God.
Yeah, you really, that was a min-max turn so far today.
Okay, so I take away the highest die, which was a 5, and I am left with 6, 8.
8, understood. So, you don't have a good read on the guy. You think he has indigestion. So, in any case, he's offering you a lot of money for a couple days' work.
Very well, I suppose I could be convinced.
Great. Here, let me take you back to the pod. And he escorts you through the main concourse to a secure area.
Okay.
Juliet, I don't know that you would have ever have been back here before. You've mainly been on, like, if this is Deep Space Nine, you're kind of on that public, area that everyone's walking around, the promenade, yeah. Whereas he's taking you to some like restricted access areas. And
Jeffrey's tubes.
basically. And he begins walking you through, and this guy sort of is saying, all right, so here's the deal, Juliet. Another thing about this, by the way, the money. We pay under the table, pay all in chips, so it's untraceable. But just so you know, this is really top secret, so don't tell anyone about it.
I'm gonna need half up front if that's the case.
That's fine. He hands you all of it up front. And he sort of walks you through this area and says, all right. Given what happened, some of the higher-ups of the company, I don't think you know my name, right?
I'm trying to determine his name.
I am going to say that the only way you would have known...
He's come to me before, right? So I should know it.
He has come to you before, but this guy would not have mentioned his name. And, tell you what, roll a mental to see if you recall what he'd been called.
Okay. Because I was like, I feel like I should know his name. I didn't even question it. Mm-hmm. Whoops. Okay. What? Now mental.
Mental is 3D. 3D.
Ooh. It's coming right at me. 11.
You do actually remember that one of the young ladies he brought to sort of see you do your stuff called him Brody.
Brody.
Mm-hmm. So he says to you, you don't know my name, right?
Well, I believe it is Brody, is it not?
It's not. Good. Okay. Perfect. He kind of keeps walking and says, we're going to keep
Can I try to divine his name?
To divine his name? I will say...
I don't know. Can any of these work to do that? I guess not.
I will say in this context, just picking it out of the blue, that's not quite a thing you can understand. So he's kind of saying, you also notice he's not wearing a nameplate.
Yep.
And he sort of says, I work for a sort of a specific division of the company, okay? Some of the higher-ups, in light of what happened here, they're asking us to put some unusual measures in the field, but I kind of wanted you around for this. I thought you might help us with this. We're in the process of studying fear.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna ask you to basically go in with a group of individuals who are gonna find themselves locked in a chamber as various fears present themselves to you all. What we would like for you to do is get a read on these other individuals while it's happening, and also to see if your ability to sense the future is kind of giving you pings against these very fake fears that we're showing you. Because again, this is all just like an experiment. You know, there's not really going to be terrors in this place. You understand?
I'm sorry, you'll be showing me fears? Or
We're
I'll be
showing
watching
all of you
observing
fears.
others?
We're not going to be pinging you for your fears, but you'll see things that they're afraid of.
That they're afraid of.
That's the idea. But the point is, we want you to get a read on them, and we want you to see if you can tell that these fake fears we're generating. We want to basically see if you have a sense of them.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I see something on Juliet's sheet that makes this interesting. I guess she would not be afraid of doing this.
Okay, great. Good. All right, so you're going to be going in here. We are going to give you we know for oobly aliens, it's kind of a little different. We're going to give you a dose of a sedative, so you're going to wake up with the rest of them. Suggest you don't know who you are when it starts, act like you don't know how you got there either. And just basically, we just want you to look at these people and observe what you can, and we'll debrief you afterwards for maybe information you might have had. All right, sound good? And remember,
Can't I just pretend to be sedated?
unfortunately, no, because what if one of them's a doctor we don't know,
I mean, how would he know if I'm truly sedated or not?
I don't know. Would rather not leave the chance. Look, this is part of what the price is for. We're going to put you in Gen Pop, as it were, But don't worry, it's not going to last more than 12, 13 hours tops.
Do I have to be concerned about how the sedatives affect my physiology?
Sedatives, forgetatives. It's not a huge problem. That's yeah.
So I'm just supposed to let this stranger inject me with sedative to take
Well,
me
he's going to
somewhere
put
I
it down
don't
your
know.
top hole.
Put it down my top hole.
Friday night, everybody!
What a wild
Basically, I'm
crazy
letting the
time.
stranger effectively date drug me and take me somewhere so to be confronted with people's fears.
Yes, basically what you're being told is, cool, take this roofie, and you're going to wake up in a haunted house with people, and we just want you to observe them.
Is there any way for me to pretend to take it and then not actually imbibe it
I would
and
say
then fake being asleep?
you suspect that would be pretty difficult. Largely because you think they might, scan you. You don't have the physical ability to slow your sac pulses or anything.
I see.
Good old sack pulses, am I right?
It's so hard to slow the sac pulses, you guys. No, especially that's where they want it, right down the top hole.
And my insight roll into him was that I couldn't get a good read.
You don't have a good read, so I guess at this point it's kind of basically is this worth it for you to the money? Also, Liv, side note, on some level, if your response to this is, nah, too weird, and then you're just done for the night, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be nah, I'm not doing this
Nope.
one, bitch.
I already care about Juliet the Oubliette. She is not doing it.
Nah, I'm just trrying to find a good justification for you to do this, I guess.
In that case, sensing your kind of trepidation, he'll say, I was authorized to go to 10, and he hands you 3,000 additional
More?
credits. Unmarked. I mean, actually, no, they're clearly marked.
Unmarked.
They're
But here's the thing, if he's planning on killing me and dumping the body, he could just take the money right back. It doesn't prove anything.
True. Do you want to go put your money in? You can go put it back in your stall if you want. Or put it into an account. We don't care.
All right. I'll go hurry back and do that.
Okay, cool. She runs back and does it. Love it. All right, so you head back. You or you could deposit it into like one of like the the automatic tellers.
Where they cannot get to it.
Go ahead and I guess in your equipment, which is technically also your thing, go ahead and put that you have 10,000 credits, which is that's a good amount. You know. That's like your gross for maybe 3 months. That's like not even counting expenses. That's not even your net. That's just like your gross income. Yeah, untaxed.
Untaxed, untraced.
So, with that, Juliet comes back. A bit of an oobly sensitive sedative is dropped down a hole and it will never be seen again. And with that, we begin the game. I need all 3 of you to please roll a resist injury. If it is down at the bottom on your sheet, and so Pascal, you're going to go to your tab that says Pascal Rocketbase.
Yep.
If you don't have it at the top, it is just whatever your standard physical is. So I think it is a 3D for you, Oubliette, 4D for the others.
I rolled a 14.
14, very good.
Got a little exploding on my special die.
Okay, wow. 19.
19, all right.
I rolled 10.
10. So we'll actually sort of say it's kind of in order. So Pascal, curious thing happens. The last thing you recall, you were floating in space, watching your sensors sort of like crystallize over with whatever moisture was on your body turning to ice, putting a little rime over you. You awaken without any injuries or punctures as far as you can see to your synth skin. You are wearing what you know to be an Arlington Grith. They call it a VIE, Valued Indentured Employees.
Feels like home.
You are wearing a effectively like a prisoner's uniform.
Yes. No, it's prison of our own movie.
As you glance around a chamber, you see there are 2 other beings, one of whom is beginning to stir, is a human, so looks much like you. The other is an oubliette, who is also slightly stirring. Her sensor sacs are kind of pulsing in that way before they officially activate her kind of like sensor appendages at the bottom. Her manipulation sacs are kind of beginning to tingle. So you think she'll be up in a few moments, but you find that you are in a circular room with a ceiling above and a ceiling below, both of which look out to open space. You see no other doors or windows in the room, but you do see several strange cabinets along the walls. You are on one of 3 cots in this chamber. The human is on another. The oubliette is on the 3rd. The human as well begins to awaken. Rawlings, the last thing you remember is that your vessel, as you were approaching those coordinates you were given, came under fire from an AG patrol ship. This actually means something to you, given your time here. The ship was boarded, and a knockout gas canister was thrown inside. You are also wearing a uniform of kind of like, it's like a yellow uniform, and it says VIE, which stands for Valued Indentured Employee, which is how they refer to their sort of prisoners.
Do I recognize anyone else in the room?
In the room, you do actually see Pascal, who you met, as well as an oubliette.
Pascal.
Oh. Great.
How are you how did you get? Did you not go into? Did you not go with Dahlia?
Oh no, I accompanied her. Yes, it is unfortunate that you made the decision to not join us, but it seems like our paths are destined to cross again.
Where are we? What happened?
I do not know. I was hoping that perhaps you would be able to tell us, considering you made the wise decision to stay behind.
I was on a ship heading back to Rocket Base 95, and the last thing I remember was the ship was attacked and boarded by an Arlington Riff vessel, and we were rendered unconscious via gas.
Philip, is that that's the company I worked for? Yes,
that is the company you work for.
Well, I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding.
I hope so, yes.
And at this point,
are you all right?
Juliet does begin to sort of awaken and stir. So, Juliet, you hear two seemingly humans having a conversation.
I won't fully let them know I'm alert yet, so I can eavesdrop.
Sounds good. Carry on, boys.
Pascal, you all right? What happened to Dahlia?
Well, Dahlia exhibited some incredible prowess.
Yes.
It seems she is. I believe she's now in. Well, actually, did I hear all the stuff that was being spoken to Dahlia, or was that just in her own head?
You ran before that conversation took place.
I see.
Yeah.
As
far as you know, she might just not have even made it out.
Yes, I'm unsure that she survived. There was a bit of a fracas.
Did you succeed in your task?
Of accompanying her?
Well, did she? I remember, Philip. I remember that she went to go kill Violet the Vamp, right? I was
you
there
do
for
know that. Yes.
Yes, I believe so. The vampire seemed quite close to death. I did inform Dahlia that there was something special she needed to do. However, I was unable to recall the specific instructions. I feel
you mentioned how to slay a vampire based on your knowledge of lore and mythology.
Yes,
you're trying to remember. Yeah.
Yes. I gave her an incomplete, but she is a very capable being. So,
yes, of course, yes.
I'm sure things went well for her. I look forward to seeing her again.
While they're speaking, can I do an insight check into the two of them?
Absolutely.
Do I have to roll twice, or can I just roll one?
Just do one for the room. Do an insight check for the table.
Okay. You boys can keep talking. I'll roll my dice.
If you'll excuse me. Well, we have another. There's another being here.
I don't mean to be rude, but
I find that people usually are rude after they say that.
I don't mean to be rude, but what the hell is that? I've never seen one of those before.
Do I know what that is?
You have seen.
I rolled a 20.
Oh, that
is 22.
That is merely an oubliette. I understand that their physiology is quite different than yours, but
yes,
some people find them quite remarkable. I am not one of those people.
Juliet, with your 20 on these two, speaking without realizing
20.
you were awake, or 22,
Yeah.
You have a strong sense that they know each other, and that whatever this strange story they're telling about someone named Dahlia and leaving and coming back, neither of them think it's a lie. And though these people don't seem to trust each other implicitly, they seem to feel they're on some degree of even footing. Is that a fair assessment for both of you?
I think there's a mutual respect.
Yes.
Yeah. And this guy seemed fine.
So no, it's not that I am. I have just simply never seen one before, and in the sense that I'm sure you can understand. Anytime there is a novel stimulus presented, one must examine it and see what the hell it is.
That is quite prudent and scientific of you.
I am a man of learning, Pascal. I don't know. I don't know if you know this about me, but I enjoy study.
Interesting. I would not have assumed that based on your appearance.
Well, appearances can be deceiving. After all, you do not appear to be what you are.
That is true. Very well put.
Are we like tied down or anything?
Nope.
Or
Free to stand. And
I'm gonna get up. Yeah, I want to get up and like start seeing if there's like a door in the room.
as you begin walking around the door, Mr. Rawlings, you hear a bum 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 bum. This kind of like low, strange kind of bell sound, and one of those cabinets, part of the cabinet folds up, and a little table emerges from it, kind of just jettisoning out, kind of just sticking out like a surfboard just extending from the wall, like an ironing board. Ironing board's better for a thing coming from a wall than surfboard. Let's all just admit that I said the wrong one at first. On this are 3 silver cups of coffee with cream and sugar. They are wafting with a very strong scent of coffee.
A little refreshment. Do you, Pascal? Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I do.
Do you have sensors that could determine whether or not there are foreign substances in said coffee?
I wouldn't worry about it, and I go ahead and down.
I don't know. I was knocked out by gas after my ship was boarded and put here, so I don't know what the hell is going on.
I find it best to just go along for the ride.
The coffee is has, you can identify just with your palate, I'm sure, has cream, sugar, and milk.
Why milk and cream?
I
A
prefer
very reasonable question.
black.
I don't think Juliet has tried it yet, but
Does Juliet consume coffee?
she can consume coffee. That's easily done.
Okay.
It's not. Sorry, the substances were inside the coffee. It was not black coffee. Then I shall not partake. No.
Yeah, it is. The coffee has come out like kind of like in a tan color.
No.
If you'll excuse me, now I'm going to go ahead and like walk over to the corner, and then I need to if you'll just excuse me, and I'd like to attempt to make a transmission.
A very, very upsetting thing happens at this moment, Pascal. As you open your mouth and feel an emptiness in your throat because your transmitter is gone. As are the backup transmitters in your hands. When you fold your fingers back, it's an empty tube.
Oh dear.
Is everything all right?
No, it isn't.
What's going on?
I do not know if you would understand. I have been neutered.
I mean, I've never been neutered myself, but I can understand the feeling of missing part of yourself that one must feel. A phantom leg of sorts.
It's imagine, if you will, that your soul was ripped from your body. That the thing that makes you what you are is no longer part of you. That you are merely A shell. A useless husk. Adrift in the nothingness of space. Utterly inconsequential.
Pascal, I feel like you would fit in very well the place that I come from.
Pascal, at this moment, whatever sort of processes you've been running, an almost 4-in-1 arises. It's the knowledge that if you had a transmission you needed to make, if there was information you needed to convey, you couldn't. You couldn't inform or convey or even request help, even if your existence depended on it. And amidst that isolation, I need you to make a resist fear roll. Which for you is 3D. With a 15, you manage to put that to the side, realizing that, if nothing else, perhaps you will find some means of transmission.
Perhaps.
Juliet, are you...
Perhaps nothing matters anymore.
Juliet, are you staying...
I was going to ask you, is this where I should be, taking their fortunes or whatever whenever they're experiencing a moment of fear?
I don't... You heard him say all of that, so if you think you would do it, then you may. But, you were told...
I think I've already got probably a good beat on what he's experiencing.
Yeah. And and you were told to sort of do this when they were being really frightened or terrified or whatever. So Juliet, are you going to remain sort of...
I'll go ahead and stir at the smell of the coffee.
Okay.
Slowly start to wake up. I look around me and then... Do I have to roll a deceive roll to feign shock?
Yeah, roll a deceive roll, because you might roll bad and that'll be funny. I love the idea that they send her in and move one is, huh? What?
Who, me?
However could this have happened to me?
Wait, what? Huh? What? Oh. You're asleep. I'm asleep.
26.
I will say that you guys can always choose to make an insight if you want to, but you are going to be given no cause to suspect she doesn't know why she's here from that beginning. So, Juliet, go ahead.
I do not know. What is... Where are we? Who are you?
Hello. I am, my name is, I'm Rawlings.
Greetings, I'm Pascal.
We,
Did you kidnap me?
No, I believe we've all been kidnapped.
Yes.
We woke up here in this room and have no. I mean, I know that I was gassed and woke up in this room, so actually abducted. I don't know, Pascal, if you remember how you got here at all, but
I do not know.
How do I know one of you isn't lying?
How do I know you're not lying? I don't know.
Do I seem like I'm lying?
No, but I don't know. I've never seen one of your species before, so I have no idea how to...
Well, so now we have a speciest here. Fantastic.
I look at Pascal and I say, I simply cannot stand someone who will not behave logically.
Behave logically? I just woke up somewhere I do not know with two strangers who do not know how they got here either. I think it is quite logical to act illogically in this moment.
Not
I'm afraid I cannot. But no, by your own admission, you believe that we also do not know how we got here, so none of us are lying.
So you claim.
Look.
Very well. I will do a quick check. I will read the signs.
All right. Make for me, please, a read fortune roll.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna deceive them.
Oh, would you if you're not actually doing one, then
I think that works for me. Let's do a read fortune roll.
Understood. Sorry, I was assuming. If you
Nope, I think that actually is good anyway.
One of them was seeming to get kind of scared already. I get it. Yeah, sure.
Oh wait, that is 34.
Juliet, you read your fortune, and you have a strong, strong impulse that all three of you are in mortal peril.
Oh no, now my fear is genuine.
I really hope she said that. I really hope she said that aloud.
No. Well, yes, actually, I will say that aloud.
My fear is not genuine.
Oh goodness.
I am a fortune teller, you see, and we are all in very, very grave danger.
Ah, this tracks.
Yes, obviously we are abducted and we're in a strange room with no...
I'd like to begin examining these cabinets.
No, it is
Absolutely.
quite worse than that, I'm afraid.
Juliet, there are these 2 cups of coffee there. Are you going to consume any coffee, or are you going to just let it ride?
Did Pascal have one?
Pascal had one.
I think I'm going to abstain now that I'm actually terrified.
Understood. As you begin looking at the various cabinets, Pascal, one of them opens next to you. Another one of those tables kind of sticks out unsupported. Sitting on it is a very, very simple, short-range communicator. Like walkie-talkie range. Like a couple kilometers.
This is the only thing that's in there?
That slides out of that one of these kind of weird cabinet things. You also don't really see anywhere on them that you can open them. They just seem to open and bring things into the room. Rawlings.
Yes.
The cabinet or a table begins to extend next to the coffee. And as this one opens, it is sort of physically repulsive to you. 2 steaming loaves of sourdough bread with fresh ramekins of herb and lobster butter. A 3-tiered tower of oysters Rockefeller. A tureen of venison with pecans, apricots, and juniper berries. Puff pastries filled with, were you to inspect it, actually you just see puff pastries, a large shrimp cocktail, Bismarck herring, and a large antipasto platter of olives, pickles, cornichons. That slides out.
Oh.
This table is covered in a white tablecloth. Rawlings.
Ugh.
Upon seeing this meal, you are instantly repulsed. And then, I want you to roll a mental roll. Flat mental.
Fuck. Well, on the downside, I rolled a 1 on my dread die.
Okay.
But on the upside, my other dice were 5, 6, 6, so it's still an 11.
But you... Oh, I see. Yes, it is still an 11. God, it's a shame you didn't have one more, so it could have been a 13, because that's an automatic horror surge when you roll a 13 after the one's taken away. An 11. I think that will actually be enough for the recall. It's been a while. Rawlings. These dishes... You've heard of them before. You've been terrified of them. You've dreamed of someone forcing you to consume this specific meal, and now that coffee from the beginning in those silver cups is even more familiar. Rawlings, what has been presented to you so far is the opening and then the appetizer course.
Yes.
of a novel you once read. A dread text called A Taste of Paradise.
Yes. How are they? But I'm able to like keep myself like relatively composed with that roll.
I think that roll was just about if you recognize what's happening.
There's like because this is incredible. I'm like trying not to throw up, and I'm also going like, this is incredible. This is how are they? How I'm like I like yell like, do I see any like cameras in the room or anything, or any like observation devices?
Make a sense roll under your dreadful.
Now who's behaving illogically?
That's a 16.
As far as you can tell, there are no cameras in this room. However,
I'm just gonna start like, go.
With a 16, as you look around, standing, kind of crossing in the center of the room, walking on that glass floor, you look up and you do see that several meters away, hovering in space, is a small drone with a red sort of sensor eye that seems to be directed into the chamber.
In that case, I'll look up at the drone and also, how are you doing? Do you have access to the text? This is exactly it. How do you do you have those? Do you have some form of it here? This is
no reply,
no,
Rawlings. But then, sliding out of the wall,
and I know it's coming at this point.
a chair
No, I don't know what's coming.
that kind of just deposits itself next to all that food. It is certainly enough to share, but only one chair has been presented. As Rawlings grapples with that, Pascal, you do see this one, just like, short-range sensor, or the short-range transmitter, like comm, sitting on a table. As you've looked at the other ones, you've seen no means of prying them open, forcing them open.
I'll go ahead and speak into this, say, greetings. If I can attempt to push a button on it.
You can. I mean, you will still actually get to roll your transmit.
Oh.
Because that's what you're doing. You know how to use these things.
I mean, it's a bit rudimentary.
So as Rawlings is staring at this meal, both shocked and repulsed by what he's seeing, intrigued at the process, but disgusted by the presence. Pascal?
20.
20. It's as if the device was designed to frustrate. You can tell that it is of a flimsy design. The button is loose and you have to kind of like work it into place to even get it to engage on any kind of transmission. You kind of pop it open and make sure the sort of broadcasting coils and things are in the right position. They're not, but you manage to send. And whenever you like have like the listening sort of on, it's just static. But you manage to sort of just send a message out. What do you say?
Greetings. Is there anyone there?
There is no
Please
reply.
respond.
Does Pascal seem disturbed by this, or
He
perturbed
seems
by this?
very perturbed by this, but one other thing I will mention, because of your 6D in sense, when he sends that transmission, Juliet,
Yes.
actually because you have a 6D, roll a sense roll with 6D.
6.
I'm sorry, you are being called on to make the things with all the dice, which means there's a lot of sort of adding up
All the
to
dice
things.
rolls.
Yeah.
I just have to do math. Fine. Okay. Let's see. I rolled a bunch of high and low ones again. Okay.
It all evens out.
10, 20, 21.
With a 21, yes, I'll say that you kind of also having noticed Rawlings, the way he was like looking up when standing on the glass, then he sort of went over and saw that chair. Because your sensor sacks are pointing in different directions. That's actually why your sense is so high. It's because your sensor sacks are kind of looking in a 360.
So I can like observe him and Pascal at the same time.
You're observing both of them. It's almost
Right.
like it makes sense that they would have gone to an oubliette to do this job, and it wasn't just randomly rolled. Juliet, you notice something. When he sends that transmission, you see on that little drone, like 100 meters away,
Yes.
an extra light sort of clicks on it as if it has received a transmission.
Oh. I'll approach Pascal since he seemed nicer to me
Greetings, miss.
and say,
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. What are your pronouns? I don't want to assume.
"Oh, you may call me Juliet."
Greetings, Juliet.
It seems we're all trapped in here together. I noticed you were attempting to make some sort of transmission or call.
Yes, I was attempting to do that. Yes.
I believe you were communicating with that. I'll just point up. What do my hands look like? I just realized that things at the top.
You're pointing upwards with this just kind of like sack that's a little longer, and you kind of just twirl it up from the base of you. Yeah, so the bottom of you is like this, and the top of you is like, so you're just eyeballs and tentacles basically, and a long body.
The shape just looked like a giant hurricane tumbler from New Orleans.
I'm I'm imagining one of those like wavy arm guys.
That's not bad.
Things at the top and things at the bottom.
I'm gonna draw one while we play.
We
need a visual.
I'll observe. I want to observe this thing. I'll go ahead and say. Oh, I actually no. I would like to observe this drone, this thing that she's pointing at. Do I recognize the make of this drone?
Ooh, roll. I like that. That I think. What is yours? Yeah, your senses is good enough that you could just sort of see it now that you're being put, and you can certainly just see it. Go ahead and do. I'll let you do an analyze, so you get an extra die on that. So it's 4D for you.
Oh, no. 5.
Did you roll a 1 on one of them?
I rolled 1s on 3 of them, except for I rolled 3 1s on my dice, and then on my exploder I rolled 2.
On your dread die, you rolled a 2. You have no idea. This seems like some absolutely foreign alien tech you've never seen the like of.
I would like to attempt to then at least transmit a. Maybe I'll go through a little bit of a loop, but sort of I'll click on the thing and start like a modem, going through a bunch of common communications protocols to try to interface with this machine.
Understood. Easily done for sure.
Basically, I'm basically doing the equivalent of like the learn feature on your remote for your TV.
I get you. The learn feature. Okay. Oh, these aliens are fucking cool looking. I should draw all the aliens. So as you begin to try to sort of do that, we're gonna kind of and as sort of Juliet is observing you, we'll go over to Rawlings.
Yes, I don't know what you wish from me. I shall not be. I look up at the drone and go, are you expecting me to partake of this filth?
Did you just call herring filth?
The drone.
That's why it's called a role-playing game, Liv.
The drone just stares down. But, Rawlings, you then hear that chime that you heard earlier. beginning to chime. And it seems to be kind of like obviously there's probably speakers everywhere, but it seems to be like over where this food is, and it just chimes. Gong, gong, gong. You'll never guess how many times.
13.
Anyway, this is what an oubliette looks like.
That is more phallic than I thought.
Yeah.
It's about as phallic as I assumed.
And what I like
Actually, I was not far off with my image in my head.
And I like how some of their eyes like grew a little low.
Yeah.
And just sound comes out of that top part. And I also like how they're not all the same length. Oh, and these basically just look like the heads of jellyfish. So they're like sacks of like gelatin. Oh yeah, I do
Gelatin
think
things.
I would like to hang out with one.
I'm sure you would.
But they're funny. I bet they make funny. I bet they have weird jokes. I bet they do jokes that no one will get because they're so alien. Continue. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Rose.
No. So are there any more of these like cabinet type things on the side of the room that are not open?
The entire chamber is ringed with them. Would you like to count them?
Are there 13 of them?
There are 13 of them. It's
I'm
almost like you
going
guys are getting the game.
I'm gonna try and like just open the next one that hasn't been opened yet.
Understood. You sort of pull on it. There's not really you don't really see like an opening or like a handle or anything. So far, they've always opened themselves and sort of spread stuff out. However, if you want to try to pull on it, you can just make a physical roll to try to like bust it open.
That's 6.
And you can't even get your hand anywhere inside of it.
I'm just gonna start walking around to each of the unopened ones and see if any of them open up as I near them.
Thus far, none of them have opened.
Nope. I will look at. I'll just look over at Pascal and Pascal. Sorry, did I catch you? You said your name was Juliet.
Yes.
Would either of you care to? I think someone must. Someone must eat the food. I cannot. I would.
Why not? You appear to have a functional mouth.
I find it incredibly. I think calling it repulsive does not quite do justice to the severity of the feeling I have. And I would, but this seems to be some form of. I don't know if it's a test or trial of it's experimental. We are in some kind of observational room.
I'll go and. Oh.
I don't know, but I would just request you that whoever eats it does not eat it loudly. Just quietly, please, and delicately, and with a closed mouth, please.
Well, I do not have a mouth. And how is it noisy when I eat, Philip?
Yeah, it's noisy. I think it's noisy.
Squish.
There's gonna be some, or like it echoes. It echoes all the way down. You put something in your ear to go.
No.
And then you see all of the things at the bottom like. I want to hang out.
Well,
with
in order
it.
to fully metabolize it, I imagine I must have several stomachs.
Well, it's the sacks at the bottom are the stomachs.
Are the
Like
stomachs?
some of
Okay.
those sacks are functioning as stomachs.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then it just goes. Is there anything on the table that I'm aware of that I cannot consume? Of the items listed, is there something that I cannot eat that will be ejected?
No, this would all be fine.
Oh, okay.
So, are you going to start with the sourdough bread with herb and lobster butter?
Well,
The-
I still. resent that it is expected of me to consume all of this.
Oh no, I shall help you. I just am trying to see what's going on with my friend up there.
It seems to just be staring down at you.
Nothing. No. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and eat some of the shrimp cocktail and the cornichons. I prefer cornichons.
Pascal comes over, begins nibbling on shrimp cocktail cornichons, his slightly too perfect teeth.
I'm sorry. Is there cocktail sauce?
Oh yes, it's the whitest
it's
shrimp
ringing,
cocktail you've ever seen. Yeah, it's like ringing the thing.
It's
cool
slightly chilled.
Oh yeah.
It's like on a garnish.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose
that's what my family has for Christmas every year. By the way,
yeah.
Tasty.
Isn't that weird?
No, I love it.
I go ahead and I jump in.
Okay, Juliet.
Juliet will begin with the bread and then make some offhand comment about, what some very famous talk show host in this Rocketbase realm, who often is made fun of for a time. She said, "I just love to deconstruct and digest bread," over and over again, and it makes her giggle, and they have no fucking clue what she's talking.
I am sitting I understand that this is a circular room and therefore there are no corners, but I am sitting opposite the room. I'm like in a ball, like covering my ears just so I don't hear anything.
Understood. Rawlings, I want you to make a sense roll.
God.
You're not sensing this though.
Ooh, Philip, I am so sorry. I'm apologize to myself too. That is a 14.
14.
But I have a +1, and without the +1, it would have been a 13.
So Rawlings, it's a shame. What a shame. But you know what? The dice, sometimes they give us a lot, and sometimes they don't give us any, and we love them no matter what they do. Rawlings, you move to the other side of the room, and you're kind of like trying to hide yourself, and you notice something kind of upsetting. The paneling in this chamber is beginning to tilt in slight and subtle fashions, as if creating an echo chamber in the room directed at your head.
Oh.
Focused on the mouths and top holes of your companions. You hear every just ASMR inducing like crunch and slurp. Every pierce, every slop of the shrimp cocktail into the sauce, the bite of the shrimp, the sort of crunch of the cornichon, and the little aerosol mist as the vinegar is spread up around the mouth of the android consuming it. Juliet drops. So Juliet, are you going to have some herring, or are you going to have some of the terrine, the venison terrine, oysters? Wait, is anybody slurping back an oyster?
Oh yeah, oysters.
Okay, so Juliet is just dumping oysters down, and you hear the wet. You know how Mario can do a wall jump in the later games, where it's you hear the oyster doing that inside, all the way down.
They say oysters are an aphrodisiac, and it sure is making my Thinglethorpe strum.
Oh my god, her Thinglethorpes.
Her Thinglethorpe is.
Oh my.
I don't know what that is. I'll leave that to everybody's imagination.
I will not, if I will eventually figure it out. And it is canon. Her Thinglethorpe. Thinglethorpe is one of the sacks at the bottom. And you guys will notice that the Thinglethorpe definitely seems to be strumming.
Throbbing? Yeah.
And it's probably impolite to stare, but I mean, whatever. What are you going to do? Rawlings, this seems to be here to terrify you. I need you to make a resist fear roll.
Yeah. Let's fucking see how that goes. Ooh, that explodes. 18.
With an 18, you manage to keep your senses and your wits about you.
Am I observing this?
You are observing that. You see him So basically, I think, Juliet, no rolls required. You have a feeling that the robot seems upset. Well, actually, you don't even know he's a robot. The one guy seems really upset about the communicator.
Right.
And some missing thing about something. This dude seems very upset about all this food and doesn't want you guys to eat it. Also, Pascal, as you're sort of consuming the cornichons and the shrimp cocktail. I should also mention to Juliet and Pascal, obviously neither of you have like the standard human taste buds, but the food is exquisitely prepared.
Oh,
It's all excellent. Pascal,
appreciate that attention to detail.
the comm buzzes for a split second on the table. Just kind of, like as if it's like about to, it's like, like sometimes like your cell phone just does a little like, or like the screen turns on as if like you're about to get a text and then nothing happens.
Yes.
And you're like, what was that? It does that.
I'm going to hold it in my hand.
You hold it. As
I would like to very closely examine this transmitter
of course.
to see, like, is there anything significant about it?
Make an investigate roll. So that will be your that is your mental, unless you have it as a specific ability.
No, I have analyze.
Analyze is more about taking data and figuring it out. Investigate is when you're like inspecting a thing.
Okay. Okay. Oh wait, 3.
Oh, guys, by
9.
the way, don't forget about power cubes. A 9. Pascal.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about power
All you can
cubes.
tell about this is that it seems to be a low-range model in very bad condition.
All right.
Rollings.
Well,
What
let's.
did you say about power cubes? We have 9.
No, you have however many
9.
you have, but just remember you can use them.
No, well, I have 0, so.
Oh, well then you all find 3. So add 3. If you were at 0, everyone finds 3. You all found 3 power cubes on your cots with you. They really shouldn't give you power cubes in this prison/experiment, but they will. Rawlings, did you roll an insight for me? And then Pascal. You can't. All you can tell is that it seems to be pretty busted. And I'll also say, based on the roll you have, but also just kind of like your own transmit abilities, it doesn't seem to be a special one. If that makes sense, like you don't see like extra pieces inside. It seems to be like somebody gave you like a a Walmart walkie-talkie that's been used for a while and just doesn't work well. Almost like it is specifically designed to frustrate someone who is typically using inter-system built-in communications. It's almost like, don't even give me a comm at all if this is what you're going to give me, kind of thing. Rawlings.
And look at this. All of the messages when you turn it on, they're all green too.
Just on a black background.
Mm-hmm.
Rawlings. What'd you roll for your 1-5?
1-5, yes.
The way this is being focused at you, the way they're eating it, you're having this dark realization that the food's not gonna stop until you eat it.
Oh no. Oh no, poor Rawlings. We left you the herring.
The herring, the venison terrine.
I do not understand. Normally, people do not have reactions to this. I don't understand your. Did you have a bad experience? Food aversions can be quite pervasive.
Does your species not eat these things?
And my species normally does. I have things come at a cost. Yes, not everything is free.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've gathered from my short time on this base, nothing here is free. I have gained knowledge at a cost. That cost is that very thought of mastication, thought of ingestion of solid foods, the thought of little bits of solid going down my throat. Little bit, it's all horrendous to me. It's disgusting. Makes me want to claw my skin off. So, I am, but I am also a man who's driven. I know myself, and I know that my primary driver is curiosity, and that is what got me. That is how I became thusly cursed. It is how I have traveled to everywhere I've gone. It is how I have gotten to this very moment. I am now. Are you not curious how we are in some unknown prison?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Of course we're curious.
Are you not curious how they know, how our tormentors know what I am afraid of, and they are presenting to me in the very not just food, in the very format in the text, the food appeared in the text from which I gained this fear in the first place.
What text is that?
A table right next to you begins to fold out, Rawlings, like right at your head. Resting on it is a single demi-tasse cup containing an amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche.
Rawlings, you now, having thought of the book, you know what is in this cup. It is a dark red liquid, but thick, almost with the consistency of bread or dough.
Is it high in iron?
It smells to be very high in iron, and you recall from the book that it is chewy and bready, tastes of blood, with cinnamon, rosemary, coriander, and some pleasant acidity, perhaps citrus. And it's about 4 inches from your face.
I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna keep looking at the other two, and I keep talking. Are you not, Pascal? What are you afraid of? Radiance.
Am I afraid of what?
Radio. The communicator in your hand. Are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of? I feel like I'm afraid of not fulfilling my purpose.
What is your purpose to be a conduit of communication, and you can't do that right now because you're trapped in here?
Yes.
How do they know this? How do they, and I point up at the door, how do they know this?
Well, who are they, and how did they get us
curious?
here in the first place?
I am disgusted, and I am terrified at the thought of this whole process, and yet I am more curious, and I reach my hand into the cup, and I pick some up. I say, I will push through this, and I will find who this is, and I will do whatever it takes to understand what is going on. And I'll
You
shove
talk
some
so
of my-
much. Yeah, I just help him.
So
Please put something in that mouth.
you're gonna do the shoot of the thing. All right. So for you, I need you to just make a physical roll, which is kind of like the equivalent of like a Constitution save, to actually get this
Fear
down.
factor.
Do I know what species he is?
Rawlings is definitely a human.
So, okay, yeah, I know.
That's a 10.
With a 10, you manage to slurp it down. And then Rawlings, you can taste the blood, and obviously you taste things when you drink your various shakes
Yeah.
and concoctions. But this is different because it is so thick, and it seems like it's expanding in your mouth. It seems like that bready texture is like thickening as it goes down, like a plumber's epoxy, just filling your chest and then your stomach.
Oh, yuck.
I need you to make a resist fear roll.
That is an 8.
Rawlings, as you sort of like collapse in terror at what you've done, feeling the food in your stomach. Juliet,
Yes.
you notice up on the drone above,
Mm-hmm.
a light ignites.
Another light.
There seems to be a... Actually, at this point, you can't quite tell. It's just like a little light ignites, like a little light just like off to the side, a little purple light off to the side of the main red one.
Do I feel that I should point this out to them?
That is entirely up to you. You could make an insight roll if you wanted to, I guess.
Yes. I'll do an insight roll. Is that 6 again?
Yes.
Yes.
God, she really has the stats for this. Rolled it randomly, by the way. Which one she would be here.
But I rolled a 1.
Oh my god, with a 6, you could honestly take the top away. You could get to 13. It could happen mid-world.
Oh no, I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah, that's fair.
6. Oh wait. No, 11.
11. To understand what's going on seems strange. I will say that you simply are certain that there is some correlation to one of these people being no longer just disturbed by or upset by their fear, but overcome by it. Seems to have ignited one of those purple lights.
You see. I will go ahead and alert them and say it appears that well, the light has changed on that drone up there after this human began behaving quite illogically.
That was a good one.
I honestly don't know that many humans, but most of the ones I know are not this illogical or chatty.
Juliet, would you do me a favor?
Yes.
Do you have a D100 handy, actually?
Do I have anyone?
Do you
What?
have a D100 handy?
Oh,
Since you're kind of
I
a
do
new...
not, but I can pull one up.
No. Roll a, Yeah, actually...
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have a D100. Of course I do. I do.
All right. I'm gonna go to it just for the whatever of it. Would you do me a favor and roll me a D100?
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's going to determine what I'm afraid of.
You know, it is. Because we didn't have the... I was wondering if I could have something from this, ahead of time. And obviously...
How did I know? I'm like, if it's a D100, there's a table.
And we're
somewhere.
gonna have to do whatever this kind of thing would be afraid of. I think they're cool. I like them.
82.
82, she says unto me. All right. Trying to find the page of the iPad because I can't pull it up because otherwise it goes over that whole thing. Alrighty. Okay. That's actually interesting. Roll me a d6 if you would.
1.
1. Okay.
You're not cackling. I don't know if that's good or bad.
In this case, it's sort of both.
Oh no.
I'm trying to think of how to do this in the most, what's the word I want? Upsetting way as possible, All right. Okay. As you stand there trying to figure out what the two of them are afraid of,
Yes.
you hear a creaking from behind you.
Oh no. Don't I see all around?
You do, in fact. So yes, you see as the creaking happens. Ooh, man, can't sneak up on these dudes. So basically, you see, rather than extending out, one of these cabinets fall forward from like basically a quarter up, so kind of like falling into a thing from the ceiling. And what falls down from it is a sight that momentarily stuns you. Lying on the slab is a dead oubliette. But this oubliette is not simply dead. It has had its tall body portion sliced into different sections, folded back around, and inserted into the manipulation sacks at the bottom of the body. This is a ritualistic murder that you are familiar with. This is something that is a...
Self-cannibalizing?
Oh, if only it were simply that.
Ew.
There are stories of a killer who's never been caught by the oubliettes. Some might call it a serial killer.
Is he Jack the Unzipper?
Well, he is now. They call him... I mean, the Jack is a thing some people put on, but we'll call him the Ooh. Yes. But I think another term for it is Mr. Unzipper. Because for some reason, that really upsets me. Just the idea of, like, of little baby ones of these, like, being in their sleep cubicles and being like, but I'm scared of Mr. Unzipper. And the parents are like, the police say they'll find Mr. Unzipper. Don't worry. And then they go to bed, and then they hear us scratching at the window. So, you are afraid of Mr. Unzipper.
Do I roll a resist fear roll?
You do, but before you do that, because you rolled that 1,
Oh, no.
we are going to say that the reason you're afraid of Mr. Unzipper is because one meant personal connection. I'll get to it. Back when you were in school, in the dormitories, you had this friend. We'll call her Gouliette the Oubliette. Gouliette was studying to be a doctor. You were studying to be a fortune teller in Oubliette society. These are equivalent positions. Gouliette the Oubliette was studying late one night in your dorm room. You decided to go to sleep in your cubicle. But you'd always complained to Gouliette the Oubliette about the loud, wet snacks she would eat as she'd study. Just these, slurping plorgs and like the sling block berries that she would just toss down her gullet and wash down.
Gelatinous polyhedrons.
It's just, all the stuff she would just she seemed like a bottomless pit. And yet she never egested, at least that you saw. But the point is, one night she was studying, and you woke up hearing her consuming the way she often did. But something about it felt off. The sort of wet sounds she was making seemed deeper, rougher. And part of you feels like you heard this sound. But at the time, you figured you were tired. You hadn't, become the fortune teller you were. And for some reason, you just didn't want to go and check on her. You half called out to her and the sound stopped. She didn't say anything and you kept going. And then it kept going, so you just kind of went back to sleep. The next morning, you came out to discover that she had been unzippered in the cubicle next to yours, and on the wall, in the juices from her manipulation sacks, written was, "Good job not checking on your friend."
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Oh, that's super awful.
And now, there's a corpse here, unzippered, just like she was. Make your resist fear roll.
Oh no. Okay, alright, I think it's respectable. 19.
19.
Yes.
Because what they were experiencing was rough, but this is a much more visceral thing. As you kind of startle back from this, kind of whatever sounds emanating you are fear, for a moment she seems completely overwhelmed. Juliet, you do notice, as you spiral, looking up through the center, looking around the room, the worst thing about being an oubliette is you can't look away from it. You can't turn away from the horrible
I can't
image.
turn away. I can always see some of it.
But what you also see is a second purple light ignite on the drone above you. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
I have one question. Can I forcefully eject food? Like if I choose to?
Yes. Do you do so?
Can I reach the drone?
Oh no! So the drone, like, there's like you're in
It's
a
above the
chamber.
glass?
The drone is above the glass, like 100 meters away, or like
For some
50.
reason, I couldn't remember if it was. Oh, okay, never mind.
It's like
I was
it's
gonna
very
try
far. It's like maybe
and spew food up.
it's
at this.
30 meters away. I'm imagining it's like 100 some odd feet away. Yeah.
Never mind. I will store that information for later. We're good. We can end there. That got deeply upsetting.
Does anybody know the urban legend I was trying to adjust there? It's the aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light? Yeah, the girl, her roommate's making a weird noise, and she's like in bed and doesn't turn on the light, and then written in blood on the wall is next to her dead roommate, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light? Like, cool. Ah, that's cool. If you're gonna be a serial killer, you gotta do stuff like that. All right.
Haunting of victims.
Well, everyone, that was an upsetting session, and yet I had a lot of fun. We learned a lot about the oubliettes. We learned a lot about Rawlings. And we also learned a little something about Pascal, which is that take away his transmitter and he feels like his soul is gone and there's no purpose in the universe.
That didn't hit me deeply in a way that I didn't need tonight at all.
Okay, their purpose.
You know, we get a little bit of jokes and a little bit of single thread.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. This was a blast. We'll be back here with more of this next week. This coming Sunday and Monday, there's going to be some stuff. It might just be just chattings. We might do like a random one shot. We're taking some time off of the Star Wars before we kind of bring them back in August. And then on Tuesday, we have our murder mystery game, which is a very weird, slow burn, but things have really kind of started to pick up, and it's kind of we're having a lot of fun with that, so check that out. Definitely a slower sort of vibe, kind of less energy, but it's kind of building the way the Agatha Christie things do. Eventually, it'll kind of get crazier. Haven't even had the murder yet. Aha! So join us for all that fun stuff. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and next Friday. Go to our About page to see all the cool stuff our players do. Come visit us on the Discord. And we also have a promotions page on the Discord where some of our players, or really anybody, can just post stuff they're doing or up to. So, Andrew, I don't know if you saw that's on there, but you can post that, whatever, that's going on. But that's kind of all we got here. Anybody want to plug anything or mention anything?
No, Tuesdays I stream on Twitch from 5 to 7 Pacific at Andrew is Trying, and we're going to do a new indie game on Tuesday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there.
Very good. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for being here tonight, my players. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This was a weird one. Oubliette.
It was a very weird one.
Until next time. Have a dreadful night.